Good morning, guys. Here I am a couple of days later than anticipated, but we're here. Completely losing track of time at the moment, because obviously the way the situation is. But here he is at last. He, she, I don't know. But a cute little, right, arguments. He is an ape, but he looks like he's got monkey ears. He's just a cute little hybrid, I think. I think he's a little bit more towards the orangutan. That's what I was going for the colourings. So, but I do think he's quite cute. I was really pleased with him when I'd finished with him. It's really simple to make. Hopefully, if you like this sort of thing, or you've got a friend that likes monkeys. I keep saying monkeys. I get into trouble saying monkeys when they're apes, because my friend's really into sort of all monkeys and apes, and my son's girlfriend also is, so I was getting into trouble because I always said the wrong thing. He's an ape, isn't he? But I don't know, he's whatever you want him to be, because he's absolutely adorable and really easy to make. And here's my tools. I know this looks a little bit weird. I use this gadget to help do him plaits. You don't need it, but I will show you what I do with it. I think I've mentioned it when I've done the hats for the dolls before. So less of me talking rubbish, let's have a look at what we've got. That's just my notebook and a pair of scissors. So I've got my pattern in there. I am using a double knit yarn. This is just a Stylecraft yarn that I've got here, and a 3.5mm hook, because as you know, that's my favourite hook. Again, with this style of crochet, you could use a 4. I wouldn't really push it much above that, but a 4 would be okay. It might come out slightly larger. You could use a 3 still with the double knit, so it'll come out a little bit smaller. Not a great deal. I've only got a ruler because I wanted to measure off some yarn for the legs and arms. Oh, so we don't need that one now. And in my little pot, I have a little bit of yarn for his muzzle, a little bit for his mouth. There are a couple of beads. You can use safety eyes if you've got them, but you've got to remember to put them in before you finish him off, and that's a little bit tricky to get the position in. I have a stitch marker and my needles and some thread just to sew the beads on, so just lots of little bits of trinkets there. And of course, the thing I always forget to put out, I have some stuff in, because he needs to be nice and squidgy. So we're going to get on with him. I think we'll leave him sat there. He can be watching us. That one doesn't need to be there. Let me get on the right page. Here's my notebook I have. I have a basic notebook, and then it goes into a larger book after the fact. Well, that's the theory. I've got loads to put in the larger book at the moment. Oh dear, I've got no excuse at the moment, but things still seem to be non-stop. Right, let me get this yarn right. Again, can be any colour. Can be pink, it can be blue. Doesn't have to be. I just like this sort of the orangey colour, the orangutan. Or again, I get tormented because I'll say it's an orange tang. But whatever, it's up to you. So here is my yarn. Slip knot as per onto the hook. Not too tight. It is classic amigurumi. It's not going to be much different to a lot of other things I do, but again, this is the beauty of amigurumi. You can make all sorts of things from a very simple shape. So I'm going to do 2 chain, because I don't do the magic circle. I do 2 chain, and into my first chain here I'm going to be doing 6 double crochets. Remember, I'm UK terms, so if you're US terms, that is a single crochet. So in we go into that first one. So that's number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now we're now going to do 2 in each, which again you'll see very similar to anything else I do. There we go. So 2 double crochets into each of those first 6. So that's 1 set of 2, 2, that's 3. So it's 2 in each one, remember. 4, 5 and 6. We should now have a 12 double crochets. I'm going to tighten my middle up now as well. So there's 12 stitches there now. So we're going to do yet another increase, again 2 in each, to give us 24. So off we go. You can pop a stitch marker in at this point if you want. It's up to you. I'm going to pop it in on the next round though, so I'm going to count this round. So that's 2 in the first one, 2 in number 2, 2 in number 3. Now I'm just going to count the single numbers, but you know it's 2 in each. 4, 5, 6, that's up halfway, 7, 8, 9, 10, oh, nearly dropped it, 11, and number 12. So now we have 24 stitches, and I am going to bring in my stitch marker. Now this is the stitch marker, I don't know whether you've seen it, the yarn box opening. I keep saying it wrong because I keep saying yarn box unopening. Well, it's not an unopening because that means I'll be closing it. Yarn box opening. It was a surprise one. It was a Lord of the Rings theme this time, and I got this very cute little acorn stitch marker, so I'm going to use that because that's a stitch marker for this week. There we go, he's quite cute. So we're going to have another increase round before we have some straight ones, and basically this is going to be 2 double crochets in one double crochet in the next one, and you're going to repeat that all the way. Next 2. I'm reading my pattern here, good job you didn't set off. So we have 2 in the first one, then 1 1, 2 in the next one, 1 1, all the way round. So I think you'll see what I'm doing there. So we have 2 double crochets into the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 2. That's your combination. There's actually 8 of those little sets. I'm just going to rely on the stitch marker, so I'm just going to keep going round until I get there. So we have a 2, so I'm not counting them really, I'm just doing the combination. A 1, a 1, a 2, a 1, all double crochets, a 2, a 1, a 1, a 2, a 1, and a 1. Let me just move that out of the way. Then you think stitch markers are great, but when you've, ooh, stitch markers aren't great. I've just knocked everything flying. There you go. Are you back? Oh, my phone doesn't want to hold now. Is it holding? It's holding. Dear, I am clumsy. Right, what were we up to? I'm saying the stitch marker was in the way, so I've just shuffled it around. I don't know whether I've got... Shall we change the angle slightly? Let's pull you down there. Is that any better? That might be a bit better. Right, I will try not to knock the phone again. So we have a 2, and a 1, and a 1, a 2, 1, 1. I think we're nearly there. I think 1 more set should be it. A 2, a 1, and look at that, we land exactly above our stitch marker. So that's my last increase. We're going to have some plain rounds now, just to sort of carry on up his body, and then we're going to have some decreases. So the stitch marker's great now. We're going to do, if you're wanting to pause or you're wanting to fast forward a bit, at the moment I'm going to do 4 rounds of double crochet, just 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around 4 times. Yep, so off we go. So I'm going to speed up a little bit, because as I say, you can just pause this or write it on a piece of paper that you're going to go round 4 times. Off we go. I hope things are improving wherever you are. Obviously I'm in the UK. Some of it seems to be getting a little bit better. I mean, you can't, there's no such thing as getting better from people's deaths. I'm not going to get morbid though, but it is improving. So hopefully our NHS are taking off a little bit less stress, hopefully, bit by bit, and people are surviving through. So that's all good news. I know depending what country you're in, some of you guys are already out of partial lockdown. We are still in that situation, but I think it's important we stay there until they say it's right. I think it's working, so we keep it that way. So I'm not going to carry on being morbid. That's just a little hope you're all safe and well. Right, that is 1 round. Oh, no, I forgot my pen. Oh, I am bad, aren't I? I'm going to use my scissors. That's counting as 1 on my 2nd round. Got to find something to count for the 2nd one now. There's plenty of bits and bobs around me. So we're on our 2nd round of just 1 double crochet in each double crochet. Now something I am going to do with this, with the monkey, when I've finished him, as I've mentioned so many times, every time I make something I go, oh, that could be a hat. I think this one definitely could be a hat. What do you think? A cute little smart doll hat, or a little Cindy hat. He's sort of, if you, Sounds awful this if you chop his head off. He's almost Cindy size hat there. But I think I'll make one for the smart doll first. Do we want it as a pattern? That is the question. Do we want it as a tutorial? I don't know. You'll have to let me know. I know obviously some of you are just crocheters. You're not doll collectors as well. But if any of you are both, which I know there is some, if you do fancy me doing a monkey hat tutorial, please let me know. I'm going to use the word monkey because I think it is more, everybody sort of picks up on that, don't they? I think. So there we go. That's our second time around. What am I going to use? What am I going to use? I've still got some little hair clips here. I'm going to use a little hair clip. There we go. That's our second round. Scissors and a hair clip is round 2. Round 3. Off we go. There's always a way around it. If you've stayed with me, not paused or fast forward, hope you're keeping up with this. I am very aware that I do crochet relatively fast. I'm not really that fast, but I do crochet relatively fast. So you can slow me down in the settings, don't forget, if that makes it a little bit easier, even though my voice is a little bit weird. But you can slow it down, or if you're just watching the visuals, because obviously not everybody is necessarily watching this with me using the English language, so some people are just visually getting the patterns, so you can slow me down. That makes it a lot easier. Or what I know a couple of people are doing, they're watching the video, writing a few bits down, and then come back to it just to sort of check where they are. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. So that is round 3. Should we use a yellow flower? We use a yellow flower for our 3. Don't need one for number 4, but round 4 I need to order some more of this wool as well. So if I'm going to be making, because it's sort of, you know, when it's starting to get a bit towards the end, I do need some more. Thankfully that is something I can actually order online, because I want some plain colour lace weights as well. So I'm going to have a little look. Doesn't take much of an excuse for me to do a wool order. So we are on our last round. I can't speak, can I? Oh dear. We're nearly there. And then I'm going to push it out a little bit because it's sort of running a bit inside out at the moment. So this is his bottom. It looks rather large compared with the others. It's weird because sometimes they look odd until they're stuffed. And when you stuff them, the shape completely changes. We get around to that stitch marker. We should have 32 stitches. That is the theory. Right, just going to take that out a second, and I'm going to push it out the other way, because that is what should, where this yarn is coming out of is the inside. I am also going to move the stitch marker up, because we're going to be doing a little bit of decreasing soon, and the stitch marker position will change if you do that, so you must keep changing its position. So we'll move that out of the way. We have a decrease round because we've got his bottom, and now we need to shape up. He's a little bit egg shaped, isn't he? A little bit of a long egg, perhaps we could call him. So we're going to do 2 double crochets together. So 1, 2 together, and then we're going to do 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're going to repeat that again. It happens 4 times in the round. So here we go. So just a quick reminder of 2 togethers, pull it through, but you don't finish the stitch. And you see you've got 2 on there. You go into the next stitch, you pull it through, leaving us 3. If you have 3 on, you know you're in the right position. And we're going to pull through all 3, which give us a 2 together. We're going to do 6 ones now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're going to do that decrease again, so remember, yeah, so when we get 3 on all the way through, and then 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So that's our second set. We have 2 more sets to go. Yarn's running about a bit, so we have 2 together, 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and as you can see, that looks about right for our last set, so we know we're roughly there. So 2 together and then 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect, dead on top of that stitch marker. And 6. So we've decreased, and it's an increase, we've decreased a little bit. We now need some plain rounds again, so we're going to have 2 rounds. I'm flicking these things about. Let me move things out of the way. We're going to have 2 rounds of just, oh dear, I'm going to have to find a different way or a different product to hold my phone. What I've got it on really is a little bit of a makeshift stand, and then I've got like this bendy angled thing that goes over, but the problem being is I have to have it quite close to me, obviously, for over. So I could do with something coming in the opposite direction. I don't know, perhaps I need to research a little bit, and then perhaps I won't knock it quite as often. Anyway, going back to the crochet, 2 rounds of double crochet. So again, you can pause me or fast forward this bit. It's not really worth fast forwarding because it only takes a minute or 2. So we're 1 double crochet in every double crochet, and we have decreased by 4 stitches now, so we should have 28 stitches. I'm not going to count. Again, with Amigurumi, the beauty is if we did happen to have a little bit more, it is not really going to make a huge amount of difference, apart from the fact you'll have a slightly larger, or if you've got less, a slightly smaller little critter. Shall I call him a critter? I've got to think what to put on the thumbnail, because you know when you put your thumbnails on YouTube where so people can see what you make it, you sort of put your little title on, and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to put Chunky Monkey. So that's quite cute because he's a little chunky there. He is quite cute. But then again, is this argument, he's not a monkey. Is he a monkey? Is he an ape? He's whatever you want him to be. So I've got to find some way of doing a description. It's got to be monkey because that's what people are going to pick up. I think if people go on YouTube, they're going to put in crochet monkey. I think that's what it's going to come up as. So it's not that I don't know the difference. So please excuse if I'm saying it wrong. Right, that was 1 round. 1 more round. This debate is going to go on forever, I think. I know they're right. I know what they're saying is right. And I know the difference, but I don't know. I think we're inclined to use the word monkey as a sort of a generic term. So I think that might be what he'll be. Although I suddenly woke up last night, I'm laid in bed, I wasn't actually asleep, I was thinking, my husband's fast asleep, and I suddenly went, do orangutans have sticky out ears? He sort of just grunted at me and went back to sleep. So yeah, that was a question. So it has been playing on my mind all night on how to describe him. Oh, poor little fella. I don't know what to, I have to just call you a name. Should we call you Bob? We'll call you Bob. Or should we call you Brenda? Are you a boy or you a girl? I don't know. Like a Bob or a Brenda. I think it looks like a Bob. We'll call you Bob. Bob could be a girl's name. Could be Roberta. So I think that's quite a neutral little name there. So Bob the whatever he is. So that was 2 rounds. We're now going to do a decrease round again, and it's going to be 4 decreases equally around. I'm going to tuck that out of the way, it annoys me. So it's very similar to last time, but this time we're going to do 2 together, then 5 double crochets. So 2 together, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So off we go. So remember, if you've got 3 on the hook, pull through all 3, and then we want 5 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 together, 1, 2, then 5 stitches, 1, 2, careful, 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 3, 4, and 5. Got 2 more sets, 2 together, then 5 double crochets. That yarn still come out of the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1 more set. You can see it's starting to shrink down a bit now. 2, then 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 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 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm going to move my stitch marker because that's the second decrease we've done, so I'm going to take it down below that last stitch that I did because I know I counted it properly. So we're now going to do, let's have a little nosy, 2 rounds of double crochet. You can see the pattern appearing here. I'm doing like a decrease round and then I'm doing 2 double crochet rounds. So off we go, just a double crochet round. We have 2 of them, but we have a lot less stitches now. We are down to, what we're down to? We're down to 24 stitches if you wish to count. I think if you're going to be making multiples, like I've mentioned before, and they need to be the same, for example, you do need to count, really. You should count to make it nice and neat. If it's just a one-off for a bit of fun or a little gift for somebody, it doesn't really matter. So you don't want to be more than what? I mean, I keep saying it doesn't matter. It does to a certain degree. You don't really want to be more than maybe 2 stitches out. Much more than that, you could be altering the shape. So you do have to be a bit careful. So that's our first round of the 24 stitches. Back to the stitch marker, round again for our second round of 24 stitches. Let's have a look on the time. What are we up to? 21 minutes. It's not bad. I think after you've done the body, the ears and the muzzle could not be any quicker. They are so simple. And same with the arms and the legs, really. A little bit fiddly, depends on whether you like plaiting. I mean, if you don't like plaiting, you know, you could use some sort of a thick, I don't know, a thick thread of some sort, a little thin bit of rope. There's lots of different things you could do. It actually looks quite cute without the arms and legs. So it depending, because a lot of amigurumi is like that. It doesn't have the extra details. It's just like a little cute sort of, I don't know, ball of fun, I suppose. Right, that's second time round. So you can see we're getting that shape in there. We have yet another decrease round. This time it's going to be 2 together, 4 double crochets. So you can see I'm slowly decreasing how many double crochets I'm doing. So we have 2 together, 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just about keeping it equal around him. So 2 together, then 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 double crochets, then 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 1 more to the left, 2 together, and our last 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lovely. Oh, look, we're still in line. That's good. So again, 2 rounds of double crochet. We're nearly there. We are nearly there. So we have 20 stitches now. So off we go with our 20 stitches. 2 rounds worth. There is actually only, well, there's more decreasing, but this is the last 2 just single rounds. We mustn't get too carried away though and start finishing it off without stuff in it. I've actually done that before now, thinking, oh, I'm nearly there, nearly there. Decrease, decrease, decrease. Ah, I've not stuffed it. So you do need to get to a certain point where you need to think about stuffing it. We're all right just yet. But you can see the length of the body, so that's our first round. So you can tell we're not far off. You could do less double crochet rounds. You know, you could do sort of maybe 1 in between each set of decrease rounds, and then he would certainly be a little chunky fella. It would make it squatter. If you did more rounds in between, you would make him taller. So there are lots of different ways of altering your work. I mean, it might look quite fun. Say if you did a set of 3. And you could have a really long one, you could have a little squat one, and you could have sort of the average size one sort of in a row. I think that would look quite cute actually. We're on our second round here, aren't we? I talk so much I don't know what I'm on. Right, we are, if I don't keep dropping that stitch, we are round. Yep, that will do me. Right, we have another decrease round which is very similar to the last one again. 2 together and then 3 decreases. So I'm not going to worry about that stitch marker. You can move it up if you wish, but I'm not going to worry too much here. So 2 together, then 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. That's our first set. 2 together, then 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 2 together, then we have 1, 2 and 3, last time. You see it's starting to close up properly now. 2 together, then 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to take the stitch marker out, we do not need it in there. Over we go. So I think we should start thinking about stuffing that now, so because it's getting a bit close. Yeah, so you can see we've got like a little pear shape at the moment. So stuffing again is preferred. You'd make it either a lot sort of harder or you make it squishier, so by just putting more or less in. I do use a good quality toy grade stuffing. I think it is important. I mean, you've got to think about, you don't want to be thinking about fire risks, do you? That's a bit morbid. But you've got to think, you know, sort of if things are flammable and that, so don't just stuff it with anything. I know in the days gone by, the toys were stuffed with all sorts of things. Right, if I give him a little wiggle like that, that to me is about right. I'm pushing that further down now though, because I don't like it catching when I do the rest of the decreases. So because all we're going to do now is 2 together, 2 together, 2 together until this hole is closed. So that's why I said we're nearly there, we're very close. So this body I would say takes maybe 25 minutes. There we go. No, I'm on 26 minutes here, but I did do a bit of talking. So 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, and just keep doing that. It does get harder to hold as it gets smaller. Keep it tight as well. It's very easy to let your stitches go loose at this point, and if you do, where you're decreasing, you'll see little holes. We do sort of get away with that because he's got a little tuft here, but it's good practice to make sure it is tight. So you can see I'm sort of tightening it as I go. We're almost there. It'll tighten. I think maybe one more. Tiny hole, don't worry about it. We're going to use the needle to actually pull that up. So we're going to fasten off. There we go. Shall we grab the needle now? I think we will. Last stitch I'm going to do is a slip stitch. You'll see I do that. You don't have to. It's just my choice. Right, through it goes. And let's get rid of this little bit of yarn. We're going to sew in as we go along, I think, to keep us nice and tidy today. So you can see there's a very tiny hole. It's not massive. You wouldn't really see it. So I'm just going to sort of take it across. And take it across. It's like a little bit of darning, really. One more time, I'm going to take it this way. Oh, I think that makes it neat enough. You don't need to worry too much. And then I'm going to do my usual, push it through, because when it goes through the stuffing, it sort of holds it a little bit, but I like to do it a few times. Some people will just fasten off. I don't, as in just use a pair of scissors to cut it off, but I think you need to make sure it's not going to be coming undone. So I can get rid of that bit. So, squidge it about a bit. We have... Yay, he's got a friend. These have both got homes. So I might end up having to make another one yet. But yes, people have already said that they want them. So I'm sorted for that. Right, here we go. A little bit of cream yarn. It is the same brand as this. It is a Stylecraft. Doesn't really matter. Whatever sort of double knit yarn you've got. I just sort of pulled this off the ball that I'd got because I thought it was a little bit neater to have on the table. Let me put my needle away before I lose it. Again, could not be any simpler. It is completely, I want to say starts amigurumi, it's completely amigurumi. So here we go. Slip knot on the hook, 2 chain, into that first chain, 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Pull it up if you want. Now 2 double crochets into each. I hope this colour's showing up. Paler colours are a little bit difficult. So 2 into each, so that's 1, Oh, look, can you see I've split that stitch there? I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to take it out. It's only one stitch, it's worth taking out to make the rest of your work look neat. So this was number 2, wasn't it? So that's 2. 3, 4, 5, one more, and 6. Wait, I now want to tighten it up. I really want to tighten it up because that is going to be the front of his mouth, so you don't want it sort of loose. It must be tight, otherwise it's going to look a little bit bad at the end. I'm going to change my page. I am pretty sure I know what's coming next, but I want to double check so I don't tell you wrong. That's it. So 1 double crochet into each of those 12 now, and then that'll be it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just 2 more, 11 and 12, and I'm going to finish with a slip stitch, and there we are. That's it. That's his muzzle. Now, okay, on him it looks oval, and what I've done looks round. It doesn't matter, it's how you sew it on that can squish that shape in. So make sure everything's really extra tight, and what you do is, because obviously that's round, but you sew it on like that. So let's have a go at the sewing on, as I said, because I was going to do it as we go. I know I don't always do that. I use this middle part here to anchor it. It's not sewing it on, it's just positioning it, should I say, rather than anchoring it. So I know, let's have a look, should we do you roughly the same, about there? So I know it's going to be about there. So I'm just going to push that through. Make sure you don't pull it too tight, because you can see what happened there. And I know it's going to be about there. Yeah. Wiggle it about till you're happy. I think that looks about right. Now I'll just leave that there until I finish sewing it up, and then I'll cut it off after. The sewing up can make such a massive difference to what you're doing. I think I have a pussycat hair in there. I had to chase her out earlier. Well, I didn't chase her, but I found her loitering. She's usually after stealing stuff, so I have to be careful. So I've decided that is where I want it. So I'll hold it gently, and I'm going to pick up that first stitch. But because that's there, it's sort of holding it anyway, so it does help. It's quite a useful little thing, that. So I'm going to pick up, see how I'm keeping it sort of squashed a bit? The top stitch only, you see the 2 chain? I'm only picking up the top part of the chain. I know I have mentioned it before, but you never know whether you've got new people on your videos on a regular basis, so it's always important to repeat certain things. So I'm just picking up the top bit. I have to watch it, because when I'm sewing I pull my work to me, so I've got to watch that. Oh, twisted him around a bit. I need to try and lean forward a bit. I think that's the key to it. You can see how we're sort of starting to squish in. Now, because I want obviously it to be wider than taller, because I've made it more like a little oval, you are pulling it a little bit out towards the sides. You don't have to have it an oval, you could have it a little round if you wanted to. I'm also allowing it to sort of puff up, and you see, now if you want to pop a bit of stuffing in there, if you're making it larger you would probably have to do that, but at this size we sort of get away with it. It's going to come out, there we go. Nearly there. Now you could have sewn the mouth on as well before. That was something I'd ummed and ahed about, because sometimes it is easier to sew the features on before you actually put it onto the sort of the body or something like that. But I decided not to, because I think the mouth slightly pulls it in, and I think it needs to be in position for that to happen. I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, again, easy enough to undo if you weren't happy with it. So I'm going to tie a little knot, make sure it doesn't affect anything else. I'm going to push it through, and then I'm going to push it through the body a couple of times if I've got enough. I don't think it's very long. There we go. One more. We're on 35 minutes, not doing bad at all. Snip those two ends off, and we have, oh, look at that. Right, we'll put his mouth on now because we're going detail of detail. This is crochet cotton. You can use embroidery thread. I like the crochet cotton because I feel it's solider. It gives sort of more definition, whereas I think the actual, which needle shall I use? Oh, this one should be okay still. I think sometimes an embroidery thread can split and then it looks a little bit messy. So I like this because it doesn't split. Little knot in the end. Only keep the knot, again, it's a bit of a trick. It needs to be large enough it's not going to pull through the yarn, but I don't like having those ends, but small enough that you can hide it, because I'm going to go in from up here. Yeah, and I need to sort of position across his mouth there. So I need it to come through, but I don't need it to pull all the way through. You do need to be careful. And then I'm just going to have a little mouth that goes straight across. I'm going to push it all the way through his body. Yeah. Now you can make a little V shape, a little smiley mouth, but I think the little straight mouth works for the monkey. I said it again, haven't I? I don't know, but I think that sort of mouth works quite nicely for him. Now, because you can't really fasten it off, I do go through quite a few times to make sure it's not going to come undone. It's not going to come undone. I've never had anything like that come off because, like I said, the stuffing seems to hold, and it's gone through so many times. I know this from when I've took things apart as well. Sometimes I've cut something up because I want something off it because I don't, you know, it's gone wrong or I don't want it anymore. You can see where I've crossed all the way through the stuffing inside, so it does hold. Ta-da! So we have a little mouth. We're getting there, aren't we, mister? Right, ears, so easy. Exam, slip knot, needle out of the way, 2 chain, 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is it. You've done. That is one ear. You can make bigger ears if you want, but for this size, I mean, if I make a smart doll hat, they will need to be larger ears because I'll probably put felt in the middle as well and give a little bit more detail. But for this one, I don't think it's necessary. So let's get that second ear done. And then it's almost time to put extra detail on. So 2 chain, 6 double crochet into the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Tighten it up, and we are done. So we'll get the ears on as well. Now we have 2 pieces here. I want this last part to be the one to sew on, but there's this other bit that is from the centre. So I'm going to use the bit that's from the centre, you know, like we anchored the mouth to anchor. So I'm going to pull that one through the body. Now, if this is a big circle, you can't do it from there. You'd have to thread it through first. But because it's only a little circle, we get away with it. So I think, well, maybe there. That looks about right. Again, we can take it out if necessary. Yeah, I think that's about right there. So I'll leave that one there until his ear's sewn on because it's sort of holding it in place. We only need a couple of stitches. I'm going to flatten it forward and stitch at the back just along. 1, 2, 1 more, which is going to form our knots, and that's it. So now, as before, check. You think that's secure enough? Yeah, I'm happy with that. And our through and through. 1, 2, last 1. So you don't have to do it 3, it's just me, just the way I do it. So that's 1 ear. Remember, we don't need that bit anymore, so I can snip that off as well. So use the one that comes from the centre, which is this one, to anchor. And keep his ears approximately equal. Yeah, happy with that. And use the other bit, and the bit that you finished off with, to sew it on. Fold it over. That's 1 stitch, 2 stitch, and a fasten off stitch. Check you're happy with it before you completely fasten off, and through the body. Trying to decide whether to go for the eyes next, or just looking whether I put them on the right way around. They're okay. I think I have actually put them on the opposite way around. I'll show you in a minute in comparison to the other one. It's not noticeable at this size. If it was larger, it would have been noticeable. Right, to me, that, where it sits flat, can you see, like on that one, it sort of sits flat? That should have been the front. For some reason, I've sewn them on the other way, but I think the size he is, I'm going to get away with that. We will be all right. So what do I do next? Do I put the eyes on for detail, or do I get on with his little tufts? I think we'll go for the eyes, because as soon as they're on, aren't they? Amazing what difference it makes. I'm going to snap that, then I'll be good and use my scissors. Amazing what difference putting eyes onto a character make. So I need a finer needle now. It literally gives them the life, I think, as soon as you put the eyes on. It'd be alright if I could actually thread the needle. Right, oh, there we go. I was going to say I was going to bring it closer to myself, but I managed it. Again, this is sewing cotton. We need a really good knot, because it's a lot finer, but we need to make sure it also pulls through the body. So I'm going to go in again from the top. Now I know where I want my eyes. I want one there. Check now that that's not going to come through. So when you pull it through, don't pull it through a space, pull it through an actual stitch so the yarn is holding it as well. Now these are the little beads I've got. I really do need to order some more beads because I haven't got many. So I do go through an awful lot of this size. So I'm just going through a couple of times. Up to you how many times you go through. You'll know how secure your beads are. But look at the difference already, because he's got a little eye. It really brings it to life. The other one on. Make sure it's straight, doesn't get tangled. Through again. Now this time I need a little knot, so I'm just picking up right underneath so you can't see it. Little knot. I'm going to do another little knot. Please remember, these are not toys. They are collectible objects. So if you are giving it to a younger person, I would definitely not give it to a little one, because my grandson likes monkeys. We showed him a picture of it over the phone, because obviously I'm not having contact as such. It's from a distance, and he started making monkey noises, so at least I knew he knew what it was. So somebody did, so that was always good. But I wouldn't give this to him, for example. He's 18 months because of the little bead eyes. I don't want them coming off. So yeah, think about who you're giving these to. So we have a little critter. You could leave it like that. A lot of amigurumi is like that, and I think it does work. But I just wanted to make him a little bit more fun, to add a little bit more detail. So we're going to do the tufts first. Now, I don't need the ruler for this. I'm going to use the ruler for the next bit. So I've probably done them too long. I'm very wasteful with my yarn. But I don't want to get caught short. So I have cut 3 pieces. You could probably get away with about 4 inches. I think I've got about 7 there. but we're going to now thread them on his head. So fold it over on your needle, and I need to push through the needle this bit. In fact, I've got a bigger needle here. We'll go for this big one. Now, can you see? I've got a nice big eye there. So I've pushed it through like that. So we've got the loose ends there and the loop that side. I'm going to find an area where I want it. Make sure I pick up enough. It won't pick up, pick up, pick up. There we go. Pull it through, then take that out. And I'm going to then pull through like that. So that's one. So we fold it over. Push it through, loop and loose ends next to the other one, through. You can put loads on if you want. I've just done the 3 little tufts. Last one, next to the others, pull it through, pull the loose ends through the loop, and there we go. Now that still doesn't look like that, because what I've done is I'm going to cut it short first. So I've cut his hair now. Again, you could leave it like that, but what I like to do, remove that other needle, is separate the threads of the yarn. Most of them are about 3, so you can see we get like curly bits then. Sometimes you can untwist them. Depends on your yarn. So sometimes you can take it like that and you can see how that untwists. So it makes it easier then for separating. If it's a very sort of hairy yarn, if that makes sense. I'm going to cough, excuse me a second. I'm back. I really should have brought a drink up because I am still coughing occasionally. So separating it up and dividing it like that. Can you see how it's making them all like curly locks? Last one. And there we go, separated up a little. Oh, we've missed one there. I missed one. I wondered why that middle didn't look quite as fluffy. Now you can actually take a brush to these and sort of make them even fluffier. He's got a lot longer hair than the other one. Should we give you a trim? Like me trimming my fringe the other day, this. Didn't quite go to plan. It looks alright. Not like we're going anywhere at the minute. There we go. That's a bit better. So that is essentially him. But if we want arms and legs, this is where this is coming in for me. You don't need to use this. I just find it quicker to actually do it. So I'm going to move everything out of the way and bring my yarn back. And I'm going to bring my ruler back. You don't have to be this precise, but basically I'm looking. So if we look, if I grab this little guy, doing the splits there, you can see that's 14 centimeters, but you need it to be longer than that because you've got to be able to tie this. So I'm going for around 20. Okay. Oh, poor little guy. Stay there. Throwing you away, aren't I? In fact, I might go a little bit longer. I always, like I said, overestimate. So I'll go for 25-ish. And I need 6 of those for the arms and 6 for the legs. Now, I'm not overly measuring now, but just gives you an idea because I'm in quite a thick plait. So that's 5. And that's 6. So we can say there's his legs, for example. Now, the arms aren't much different in length. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. These scissors don't like cutting. 5. Hang on, what have I got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. But my husband acquired my scissors yesterday. He's got this bonsai tree he's trimming. And I don't know where they are. I thought they'd be where he was doing the tree and I still can't find them. So I will have to have a good look later. So I will move one set away. I will move our ruler away. Now I need that big thick needle again. So remember the big one. because I'm going to take a couple through at a time. I did try taking them all through and it didn't quite work, so I'll show you what I mean. We're not folding it like we did before. I'm just doing that to push it through, so it's just loose this time. I need to decide where I want the legs. About there. Yeah, do you think about there? Looks about right. And I'm just going to pull it through and let go. Another 2. If you could get them all through, it is easier, because you know they're guaranteed they're all coming out of the same holes, but for some reason mine would not push through the stuffing. I think it's because it's a thicker needle as well. So through. I sort of pulled it down a bit like that, make it easier. Try and find the same holes. That's one set. Looks very odd at the moment. We've got a little alien one. Last one. Again, pull it down a bit so you can see across and across. Right. Now you need to make sure they're equal, approximately equal each side, because when you start plaiting them, it can alter it. I think they're about right. And I'm just going to show you what this is for. If you haven't got one of these, it's irrelevant. You can plait, but I find this little tiny vise, just swish them in a little bit, it keeps it really neat, and you can pull your plait. Because sometimes you need somebody to hold it if you've not got that. So I have 6 strands, so I'm going to divide them up into 2s, and I'm going to plait. Should have really counted how many plaits that was. I think that's about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm going to go for 20. Make sure you've got plenty here still. I think maybe I should have cut these even a little bit longer, because I'm going to tie my knot now. And to tie a knot, so don't lose that, I will need my knot to be about there. So a nice long piece would have been better, but we can do it. So when I said 25, oh, I don't know, maybe a ruler's length might be a good idea. So I need to just gently pull it. So I don't want it to look untidy. I want it right at the bottom of that plait. Yeah, there we go. Now I've got to make sure that one's the same length. Now, I think I counted 20, but I think I might have missed one at top. So we'll see how we go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Let's have a look. Yeah, that was actually about right. The other thing about it being in the vise, it's easy to measure and check what you're doing. I do this if I'm doing it for the doll hats, so I've got them lined up. Make sure your vise is clean. This has never been used for sort of proper sort of heavy work or dirty work, so I know I'm okay with this. I got this cheap from Aldi, I think it was, about X amount of years ago. I don't even know why I bought it. I just thought, oh, it might be useful. Make sure these are equal. I thought it might be useful at some point, and as it's turned out, it's been brilliant. Yeah, there we go. So now we need to trim. 1 and 2. And there we have little legs. I had contemplated doing little felt circles on the end and stitching them on. You could do that. Right, I might leave him in there actually, because I can position his arms exactly the same, but I will go through it because I like some of my videos to sort of be real time. Hopefully you have the time to watch it. That's the only problem when you do that. But you can always fast forward sections. So about there, do we think? Let's have a look where the other one is. There, that looks about right on top. Oh, he's coming out of the vise. He needs to be in there a bit tighter. So we have 1 set of 2. Same hole, remember, across. 2 set of 2. And our last set. And 3. Now Again, we need to make sure his arms are approximately the same length, and you see some there are a little bit short, so I need to pull them back through. Yep, I think we will be all right now. So I'm just going to turn him sideways a bit for his plait, dividing into the twos exactly the same as before, and off we go with the plaiting. Now, I'm presuming here everybody knows how to plait. If you don't, I'm pretty sure there'll be a YouTube video out there for various different sorts of plaiting. But it does make it easier if you've got something or someone to hold the item while you're plaiting, because it keeps it nice and flat. I mean, because I'm usually in the house on my own, because everyone's at work, it's, you know, I've not got anyone to say, come and hold this. And it makes it easier anyway to do it myself. Right, here we go, knot time. And I didn't count that one, did I? I'm going to have to measure next time. Carefully, carefully, carefully. Make it a neat knot. Make it a neat plait. And be careful because it does pull through. Can you see that? Because if I pull that, that pulls through. Make sure you keep it up to his body. Looks like I'm torturing him, don't I? This looks awful, bless. You'll escape in a minute. Off to freedom. Let's have a look. I don't think we're far off there, are we? Let's have a look. We don't want one arm longer than the other, do we, mister? Oh, we see, I've already done it a little bit longer. So I'm going to take a little bit out, and then we're going to go for the plait. We'll go for the knot. Nearly said go for the plait then. Don't tighten that until you're happy with the length, because it's hard to undo. It's easy to sort of redo if it's not tight. Right, I'm happy with that. I'm happy. Yeah, slight adjustment. Yeah, we're okay. So, time to trim. 1, 2. Time to escape. Oh, nearly squashed him other way. Squish him out again. Move that out the way. And ta-da! We have our full little bob. Yeah, his arms are about the same length. So usually the arms and legs are about the same length anyway, aren't we? So I think that was easy enough for you. I hope it was easy enough for you. Any questions, please let me know. Any queries, you know, that's what I'm here for, to try and help people create these little things that I do. So please make a comment or any suggestions of any future things. As you know, the chameleon was a suggestion by one of my subscribers, and it came out, I was really pleased with it, and I know the lady was also very pleased with it. So that was a nice little addition to the Amigurumi family. So please let me know if there's anything you can think of. Try and keep it simple, because I want the videos to be simple for most people, or at least somebody with a little bit of knowledge. So if you enjoyed that, please like, subscribe and share. Hope to see you very soon. I've got to think for next week's, but I think I'm definitely doing a smart doll monkey hat. But whether I'm going to do it for YouTube or not, I don't know. Please let me know what you think about that. So hope to see you very soon. Hope you're all keeping nice and safe and well, and see you very soon.